Out of Colorado, another American shooting. High school shooter radicalized by extremist network. On Wednesday, gunfire broke out at Evergreen High School in Colorado. Sheriff's office confirmed the suspect has died, and now he's been identified. 16 years old. His name, Desmond Holly. Watch.
Tonight, there has been a school shooting outside Denver. Police racing to the scene, students critically wounded. The suspect is also believed to be a student.
Running away in a panic, but I can assure you, because of the age we live in, long time since Columbine, remember that? They had drills. They actually prepared for this scenario. That's how often it happens. 16-year-old student who authorities say opened fire at his Colorado high school on Wednesday, wounding two classmates and turning the gun on himself, was believed to be radicalized by some extremist network, officials with the local sheriff's office said. 3 students were taken to the hospital, critical condition, following the gunfire, including the suspected shooter who was injured by that self-inflicted gunshot wound, the sheriff's office said. Officers never opened fire. That's how quick it happens, right? Sometimes they don't even get a chance to respond. Officials determined the weapon was a revolver. It's fired a lot. Shots could be seen fired at windows, lockers, authorities said on Thursday. Suspect allegedly went through the school trying to find new targets, but came upon roadblocks. Doors were locked. He could not keep shooting victims, the sheriff's department said. Doors are locked because that's protocol too. That's how many of these mass shootings we've had. While authorities are still looking into the shooter's motive, they believe he was radicalized by some extremist network and that he had a mission, officials said. Authorities said they're trying to better understand that network, searching his phone, home, locker to learn more on who he was communicating with before the shooting. Sheriff's office on Thursday said no one has been released from the hospital, despite earlier reports from hospital officials saying one of the injured had been released. Previously, authorities said on Wednesday a 4th student who also transported to the hospital with an unknown injury, but the sheriff's office said on Thursday they think it's just 3 who were injured. And that's news to celebrate, right? Because we've seen it where there's a whole lot of other victims and parents rushing to schools, hoping to get news that their child is one of the lucky ones. FBI Director Kash Patel said this in a statement on Thursday. An evidence response team and other specialty resources have been deployed as part of our response to this incident. Most importantly, our thoughts continue to be with the 2 victims injured in the shooting and all those who have been impacted by this horrific attack, Patel said in a post shared on X. Investigators say they have been in contact with the suspect's family as officials are looking into the ownership of the weapon. Unclear if this was a targeted or random attack, officials said. So I pause with the FBI director's statement there. Tehran, you probably know why, because it's appropriate, but it's like this it's the same statement. He didn't say prayers, but he did say thoughts. Our thoughts are with you. Our thoughts are with you. Our thoughts are with you. There is something fiercely wrong when a 16-year-old, not that a 16-year-old acts out. I mean, they're 16. Hormones, bullying, whatever else is going on at home, perhaps, maybe, I don't know, everywhere. You're 16, you're mad at the world, you feel restricted. You don't have the control over your own decisions, not enough of them. And sometimes it's straight up mental health challenges. But that doesn't explain the blowing your own brains out and, oh yeah, before that, shooting up the school. Isn't it an easy solution to stop these mass shootings, regardless of 16-year-olds who are perhaps temporarily out of control or radicalized? I think it
I
is.
think I think we need to talk about what are those magic words? Yes, gun control. Can we talk about that? We have so many restrictions on the freedom of speech, the First Amendment. And yet, when we ask for regulation on the Second Amendment, all of a sudden we become un American. How is that? Why is that? Where is that actually happening? We need to talk about these things. People love talking about gun violence in big cities like Los Angeles and New York City. However, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama have the most gun deaths by far, and they have the less restricted gun laws by far. That's a conversation. Those are the statistics we need to look at. This is another case of children shooting children. We need to talk about this. Why is this happening? Preventative measures, education, these are things that can all be handled. We can prevent these. And before anyone talks to me about, well, they're going to do it anyway, they're criminals, they're going to do it anyway, then that's actually an argument against all laws in general. That's just an argument against laws in general, because criminals will always find a way. We can restrict, we can rehabilitate, we can prevent, we can do all the things that we need to do to save our children. Especially, I want to see some of those pro lifers. When you love pro life when it comes to abortion, but you don't care about the kids once they get into school, you don't care about the kids once they get into college, you don't care about the kids once they go to prison, then you're not a pro lifer. That is not what you are.
I couldn't agree more. And I look at it this way: if we just mitigate this ridiculous dumping of guns throughout America, more guns than citizens, right? I mean, they're all over the place. Would that not allow us to pay more attention to kids who if we could just end this stupid, it's no debate about gun control. It's a fake debate, right? Most Americans say, of course, duh. Don't you lock your door at night? It's we know what the issue is. But if we could just get rid of this fake, financially incentivized dumping of guns, we could pay more attention. I look at your family that I teased you about because everyone's a winner, right? What what is the secret sauce that, I mean, okay, you're smart, good genes, but what kind of attention did you get from your family nurturing? And I'm not suggesting it's just, oh, the breakdown of the family or this, that. But I really think people, if we just got back to basics now.
You know, in my family, my parents, they did this thing, which I think is extremely important. They parented. They literally parented. They were
Yeah.
there. They were supportive. They were preventative. They were educating us. They were loving us. They punished us when we did something wrong. They did all the things parents or good parents are supposed to do. So that is really the answer, is that we need to parent. And unfortunately, not everybody is parented the same. In fact, just like TK Kirkland, comedian, says, who raised you? And that's
Mm.
why we need to always look back and see where the parents came in, how, what part they played, and how this works out. How do we stop this from happening and getting out of control? And if we're saying there isn't a problem, then why does this not happen in other countries? Why is this not happening in Australia or the UK? Oh, they don't have guns. Well, what about Canada? Canada has lots of guns, and yet not a lot of school shootings. We need to realize there is a problem in the United States. There is a violence problem, and that we need to stop burying our heads in the sand and find an actual solution, or this will keep happening.
Preserve the future, America. If it takes a village, the village is hurting. Village is hurting.